Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to our Zampa Zoom. This is an unusual night that we have it. We don't normally do our Zooms on Wednesday night, but because we all have been traveling or what have you, we decided to do it on Wednesday night this week. My name is Carol Zampa, and this is coming from, please turn your cameras off, please, and your microphones. Turn your cameras off. Anyway, just a moment here. Oh, okay, sorry.
Please turn off your cameras. Carol, turn off your camera.
Anyway, we're going to move on here. So, as I said, my name's Carol Zampa, and this is coming from Sarasota, Florida. Well, many of us have just come off of a conference. Many of us were in Southern California, and there was a few of you that were on live stream. And it was just a really, really exciting conference, and it just really reminds me of how positioned we are for this new 2024. What an exciting year we have. And we learned so much over the conference. And so what we wanted to do is just have various people share, because we have people that it was their first conference, and we have people that it was they had other conferences under their belt. And it's real important to get different perspectives from different people. So with that, we're going to get started. And let's see here. We're going to start off, and I'm going to spend a little bit of time on introductions with these folks. And the reason for that is because some of you know the people and some of you don't. But more importantly, I think it's really interesting to see the backgrounds of the people, because when you're thinking of people to talk to about the business, I think it's real important to know the different backgrounds that folks have. And so you know, everybody, please turn their cameras off. It's disturbing to have multiple pictures, especially when we get our guests. So if you could turn your cameras off. Okay, look on your thing there and disengage your cameras. Okay, so anyway, we're going to start, and it is important to get to know people's background, because you might know somebody that's in that background and never have even thought about them. And we've got some folks that are really very talented. Actually, as I was putting some of these backgrounds together, I was thinking, oh my goodness, if people introduce me, it's like Carol Zampa, mom, businesswoman, boom, that's it. So you're going to see some colorful backgrounds here. So we're going to start off, and we have Kathy Munoz. Some of you know Kathy. If you're new, you probably don't. Kathy comes from Michigan, and she works for a company called RESA, Regional Educational Service Agency. And what they do is they service local school districts. And she's an administrative assistant there. So Kathy, if we can bring you on, we'd love to hear your take on the conference. There she is. Hi, Kathy. Oh, you got to unmute yourself.
There we go. Sorry.
Okay.
Hello. I got the video, but forgot the mute.
We can't get them to turn their cameras off, but we can't get them to turn their sound on.
Right, exactly.
Okay, I'm going to turn my camera off so that everybody can listen to you, Kathy. Thanks for sharing tonight.
Okay, thanks, Carol. So I'm really excited to be with you tonight. Conference was amazing, as it always is. And our Friday night beginning session started with Steve Jones, which is one of my all-time favorites. And he started off, and early on in his presentation, he said, Happy New Year. And it was kind of funny because it hit me like a ton of bricks, because I went, oh my gosh, it is a new year. Like, I had so many crazy things going on within the past week and a half at home before I got to conference that I kind of had forgotten that it was a brand new year. I mean, January 1st, I knew it was New Year's, but I completely forgot that it was a new year. And I thought to myself, oh, I'm so happy I'm here. because Steve reminded me it's a new year. And then he also said that it's a new time for new beginnings. And so you can start fresh and you can make new goals and you can make new plans. And I said, yep, that's right. That's why I'm here at conference, because now it doesn't matter. I can leave what happened at home, and I'm here. And now I can focus on my business this weekend with this brand new year. And so I really recommend anybody, if you at all can make sure you're there at summer conference, be there, because just being in that space helps you just leave home at home and you can just have that focus that you need. And so I was so thankful for that. And of course, the conference air that we talk about, breathing in the conference air and feeling the excitement. It's just, you really can't describe it. You just have to experience it. So hopefully you all can go. But Steve gave us a really cool quote, as he usually does, sometimes come up with some cool ones. And he said, commitment to continuity creates stability. And I was like, yeah, I kind of like that. So continuity kind of goes in with habits. And he gave us a January jumpstart plan, which I'm not going to go into because it pretty much is like what we do with our 5 things every day. And if you're not familiar with 5 things every day, just talk with your upline and they can go over that. But it's just a nice daily plan to help you keep on track to work toward your goals. So that was Steve, and he kicked things off and reminded me that it was a new year. Well, then we were graced with Ben Physick, and Ben is amazing. He's a health point coach from Australia, a diamond from Australia. And he had a really cool quote, which was, intelligence is the ability to entertain new ideas. And again, that one made me kind of think. And I said, okay, right. I got to be open. I got to be open to changing and experiencing new things and doing things maybe in a different way, because maybe what I was doing wasn't working and maybe now it's time to try something new. So it was kind of cool that he brought that out. And then he shared some lessons that he learned in his business. And he said the number one is to be solution oriented. And for those of you who are familiar with Nancy Dornan is the first lady of Network 21, we'll call her. And she always talks about being solution oriented. You always have to think that there is a way, there will be a way, you will find a solution. It's going to happen. You have to trust in it. And you also have to be expectant that you're going to find that solution. So he said, you just have to remember to, quote, channel your inner Nancy. And I thought, oh, I like that. I'm going to remember to channel my inner Nancy. And I actually did have to channel my inner Nancy on Sunday night, or Monday morning, when we found out that we had some problems with our flight. But I channeled my inner Nancy and we got through it. But another thing that he talked about was the importance of daily habits. You are what you do. And habits are so very important. And especially, he's a health point coach. So health point habits are extremely critical. And I'm not going to go over them in too much detail, but you have water you need to drink, you have proper food you need to eat, you should be able to get steps, and all that information is important to be tracked. And the next thing he stated is that what gets tracked and measured improves. So by tracking these things, you can continue to improve. And he also talked about with your habits, as far as your audio listening habits and your reading habits, and how many plans do you show. Any area of the business, you can track those things and continue to improve them, as well as any area of your life, if there's anything that you want to improve. So I thought that was really helpful. And then he also said that people don't quit, they drift. What is drifting? He defined drifting as follows. It is a disease that needs daily shots of accountability to immunize against it. So basically, he was talking about the importance of counseling, whether you're counseling with your health point coach, if you're on health point on a daily basis, or you're counseling with your upline, if you're working on building your own business, that by doing that counseling on a daily or a weekly basis, having that accountability will help you to continue to do things on a daily basis so that you don't drift off. So he talked about that as an importance. He also mentioned the importance of your BDQ, the burning desire quotient. Do you have a dream? If you don't have a dream, you need to find a really, really strong dream. And that really strong dream will move you. You need to write it down. And because when you know why you want something, the how is going to come. it's important to keep that in mind. And he even shared a success formula with us, keeping that in mind. Success equals work times a reason times a vehicle. So there is the success formula that Ben Physic has given us. And then he also said too, remember, as you're working toward your goals, you don't miss your goals, you just change your dates because you're moving forward, and you have to give yourself grace with that and just continue to move forward and continue to set those goals and push forward. And he also quoted Gad Gabriel, who has quoted several times, saying, when your certainty is greater than someone else's doubt, you're always going to win. So by keeping in constant contact with your coach, that's going to help with your certainty. And after we heard from Ben later on, the next day, we were able to hear from Nicole Baines, and she's downline from Ben, and she's another Health Point coach. And she talked about freedom. Freedom is the promise and duplication is the key. And whatever freedom looks like to you, you can have it. And freedom can change. Your definition of freedom can change from time to time. But one thing you have to remember is that you are worthy of whatever freedom it is that you desire. And you have to work to believe that. And your example will duplicate with someone else. And she discussed more about Health Point. And one thing that I appreciated that she said was that she said when they start people on Health Point, they start them with an expectancy, letting them know that obviously they're going to lose weight and they're going to improve their health, and people are going to notice. And that when this happens, they will be able to in turn help those people lose weight and gain their own health. So that she also asked them to remember to introduce those friends to Nicole, and Nicole will help that person help the other people again. So you can kind of see the power of the duplication there. And she stresses that with the Health Point program. And then she says, you know, we are here to teach people how to add value to their life. So as they add their value to their life and they're getting better with their health, then when the time is right, you can offer them the opportunity to possibly build their own business, you know, as well. So she was just great to hear from. And it was great to hear that kind of a viewpoint, especially with myself being a Health Point coach, thinking that, yes, this is the avenue that I would continue to like to pursue to help more people build their dreams. And then we, of course, heard from David Dornan, and he's amazing. And I'm just going to just a couple of quick little snippets of what he had to say that really picked me up on. Was he was talking about the simplicity of the activity loop. And the first thing he said is your list. Your list is so important. And again, another quote, next time at conference, I'm going to make a notepad and keep it separate. I'm going to write all my quotes separately because I had a hard time finding them all. But next time I want them all lickety split. But don't be a filter for people. Let them be their own filter. So don't assume, oh no, that person wouldn't want to do it because he's a architect, or oh no, she doesn't want to talk to people, you know, she seems quiet. No, talk to that architect, talk to that quiet person, talk to everybody. Everybody has the right to experience the freedom that you're working toward if you haven't achieved it yet. So I really liked that.
That's great.
So,
thank you. I could listen to you all day long because you've got some very, very good snippets in there. Unfortunately, we've got to move on, but thank you so much. That was very, very good stuff. I really appreciate you sharing with us tonight. And it was so clear and concise. Thanks, Kathy. So we're going to move on, and I'm sorry to have to keep us within a time limit here, but we do have some folks and just a lot of great stuff to share. So the next one that we have is Steve and Pamela Beber, and Pam comes from a theater education background, and she's performed in many productions and directed many, and she also has a teaching background. And Steve, on the other hand, has a master's degree in health promotion and human performance. So he comes from an athletic background. He was an athlete and a coach and is certified in fitness nutrition. So with that, let's invite Steve and Pamela to give us a short synopsis of some of the things that help them. Hi, Steve and Pamela.
Hey,
I'm going to turn it over to you so we don't waste any time.
alrighty. I'm going to start. I just wanted to piggyback on what Kathy was talking about, establishing habits from Ben Physics, because habits determine who you are. And I would say kudos to Kathy because Her habits have taken her to 10,000 steps a day for the last, I don't know, 365 plus days in a row, which is amazing. So obviously habits are extremely important, and that was stressed. And how do we, one of the questions he asked, how does it, you don't ask, how does it fit? How does this business fit into our lives? Wait a minute. How does this business fit our lives? How do, how do we fit? I can't read these little notes. Like Kathy said, it's so hard to find them. How do we fit our lives into this business? Not how to fit this business into our lives. And so, did I say it right?
No, you got it right.
Okay.
You did.
All right. So, you know what? Now, there you go. That's one of the reasons for being there at a seminar, because if you get it wrong, you can check right away and you'll get clarity. Another thing that I really liked from the seminar was the Australian panel, because they were so speaking from their hearts, and especially this one couple who totally lost their home. They lost everything. They were in bankruptcy, and they turned to this business. And I think maybe it was even her that asked or said, how do you fit the business into your lives? Because they were so stretched and needing something so badly. So this business can be a miracle worker. No matter where you are in your life, it can be the miracle worker if you are able to establish those habits and continue. The thing that I like about being there is the conversations in the hallway while you're waiting to get into the room for the event to start. The elevator chats. We got to be in the elevator with Nancy and Dane Morton for just a moment, enough to say, oh yeah, we're in Marnie's group, da-da-da-da-da-da, how you doing? And you know, that just, you're rubbing shoulders with those diamonds and the people who are actually making this business happen. And plus you're seeing all the really cool outfits that these women are wearing, and that gives you new ideas for what's next for you. And there you go, there's a dream building. The restroom chats, I saw Susan, Ross, and Melody in the restroom. We were washing our hands together, and it's that kind of thing where you don't get that just from being on the screen. Not to mention our time at the restaurant with different people, and then running into someone else like Linda Vest, having dinner the other night with her. Those are things you cannot experience unless you're actually there. So I would say the energy and the enthusiasm, very neat, way cool. There's so much more to say, but Kathy, you did a great job summarizing. Now I'll turn it over to Steve.
Hi, guys. Boy, I tell you, you know, there's just so much valuable information that is given at the conference. But the thing that you miss on Zoom that really takes, I think, precedent is being in that atmosphere, being in that personal connection with people, being in the hotel. We're staying in fabulous hotels. I mean, it's, you know, they're very top rated. Being able to put a name and a face to a voice you've heard on audios, or you know, you maybe not have met that person, but you've seen them before on video or on Network 21. But being able to maybe say hi, get to know them, meet them, have a conversation, being able to have the little serendipities. Now, this was outstanding. For us to be able to go to the Nutrilite Center for Health and take a tour and see what they do at that research center, it just absolutely blows your socks away to see what Nutrilite does that other companies don't do. And I do a lot of looking at other companies. I do a lot of digging for clients that want to know, is this any good? I don't know if it's any good. Well, I look and see. Nothing has been able to compare to the things I find for Nutrilite that other companies say they can do or say they have. You know, one of the things was when Jerry and Sharon Webb were up and they're talking about the new E3 eSpring coming out, absolutely fabulous. When I've been at the NSF and talked to their head toxicologist, she told me personally that our current eSpring passed more certifications than any water purification unit they have ever tested. And the new one coming out, that's even better. I mean, it takes out 170 EPA priority pollutants. So it's a fabulous, fabulous unit. But being at the Neutralite Center, I mean, I was just absolutely blown away to hear what they do. You know, in the wet lab, they have to be sure that things are dissolving and being absorbed within 20 minutes. In the powder lab, all of the different nutrients that they make into powder, the powder all has to be of the same size. Otherwise, it doesn't blend right. They've got a area they call the center. Let me look again. They call it WELL. That's an acronym, but it is the Wellness Living Laboratory. So they know that, they know what makes people sick, but what they're doing is studying on what is making people well and keeps them healthy. One of the things we heard was that when they start research on a new nutrient, it's 10 years of research before they have that evolve into a nutrition that we may use. And being there is absolutely, over the top. You really need to be in the atmosphere. You need to be able to see people, talk with people, have interactions, make friends. And we always have a great conference every time we have one. And we always think, guys, this is better than ever before. And each one gets better. So, that was a fabulous concert, fabulous conference. And looking forward to Atlanta and Memorial Day weekend.
But wait, I have to say one more thing. I sat next to somebody from California on Friday night, and believe it or not, I was able to help her do a share. And she downloaded the app. She'd never done it before. So, you learn, you pick up things, and you meet new people.
And that's what it's all about, making the connections.
Thank you, Steve and Pamela. You picked up some really good points, and they're points that maybe you don't see just on stage. They're the subtle things all along, and getting in that functionaire, as Kathy so eloquently put it. And so thank you so much for all those great points. And we're going to move along. And again, I could listen to all of you for a whole hour because you all are so well prepared. And so my apologies for the short time, but boy, you're all bringing out great points. So we're going to move on. And the next couple we've got is Larry and Regina Fitzpatrick. Larry, again, like Steve, comes from an athletic background. He played and coached basketball, football, and track. And he taught for over 35 years. And Regina has a PhD, and she's a professor educator currently at Eastern Michigan University, administering a program for future teachers. So she's teaching the teachers. And so we love these guys, and we're excited to hear what you guys have to share with us. So thanks for joining us.
Okay, thank you, Carol. I'm gonna start off with the way that David Dornan started off the conference. One of the things that he said was that we have a solution for people's problems. And as Nancy often says, she also often tells us in many of her audios to be in solution mode, to solve problems. And so I felt like that was the undercurrent theme that went on throughout the conference, that most people were talking about being in solution mode. And even though we had speakers all the way from Australia and from the Ukraine who were teaching and sharing business experiences, I don't want you to forget about our own Hank and Carol Zampa, who were on the stage, as they usually are. They speak internationally for Network 21. And they were on the stage again, setting an example for us. Not only were they on the stage, but also Eric and Emily got recognized on the stage. So you see lots of examples as you're there at the conference. One other thing is that there was another theme that was going on was accountability to our uplines, so that we can get the help that we need. And we're on the DASO team, and so going up to Hank and Carol Zampa, and so that connection between us, where we get counseling, we do some problem solving, we get valuable direction. And as some of the people had mentioned on here before, and then we get down to have meals together, and that time of bonding is very important. So we get a chance to do some team building, just simple things like Hank and Carol counseling and encourage us. Kathy making sure that we have good seats to make sure that we were in the right places to see everything that we needed to see. And then when we got to Neutralite, then our own Eric, Steve, and Karen, who are very knowledgeable, were also sharing there at the Neutralite Center. So with that, it was so exciting. We registered and did some planning for the next weekend, because you don't want to miss a weekend because you don't know if that'll be your or my weekend. And then finally, I just want to say before I turn it over to Regina, is that, that many times we're trying to explain things to you, but it's hard to explain. Sometimes you just have to be there. So come and be there with us in Atlanta. Regina?
Thanks, honey. Thanks, Larry. I think we've heard that pretty loud and clear that the function air is rare. Someone called it a certified organic room. When you're consuming something that's certified organic, you kind of think you know what you're getting, right? And with our weekends, we expect to be encouraged, to be edified, to get information and education, to have celebration. But we also get some surprises, and those are often the very thing that we need the most. And those come in the way of themes, and those are individual. And I think that's what we're hearing this evening, is the way people hear a message 2 or 3 times, kind of like seeds thrown on good soil, and being together with a Network 21 weekend meeting is being in good soil and being very well nourished to bring forth fruit. One of the messages that was repeated for me was the need for transparency in these days and times as something that people want very much. And I think that lined up with David Dornan's statement about don't be weird. It was pretty clear, don't be weird. And perhaps we sometimes come across that way because we're focused on how great this is for us and how it works, and here's how you could do it. When if we're really thinking about the other person and the potential they may have if exposed to this, that may protect us from being weird and coming on in a manner that can be off-putting, as David said, and be really reflecting that we care, that we certainly see the way our diamonds care and leaders in Network 21 care for us and share from their wisdom and knowledge so generously, and their time. It's a huge gift. It's a huge gift, certified organic, and they want us to know is that we're good enough. And that's what we want to share with others, that you're good enough. You're good enough for whatever it is that you're doing. And in doing that, perhaps we realize we're good enough too. So when we're at a weekend, we get sometimes what we're asking for. We get what we need. And that's why we don't miss them. We know where we belong. Thanks for letting us share, Carol and Hank.
Thank you, Larry and Regina. That was very lovely. And I would say lovely because it really was a very heartfelt message. And what really rings out to me as I'm listening to all of you, starting with Kathy and moving right straight through, is every one of you are so supportive of each other. And this is so important. And, many number of times Kathy was mentioned about helping people get seats and doing this and somebody else doing that and finding somebody in the line and a conversation. And I have to tell you that Kathy got up and of course, you all know how much weight she lost. And I said, get up and be recognized for 1 year, 250, whatever days it is of your stepping queen, because we all want to know about that. So Kathy is really locked in that one-liner for herself. But anyway, so thank you all for being such great team members, not only for Hank and I, but more importantly for each and every one of you. You're all watching out for each other, and we're all going to grow together. And I think this is going to be such a great year for that. And you all have just such a beautiful attitude of no cross-lining, just supporting, helping, uplifting, and that's extremely important. That's how a team moves ahead. Okay, we're going to move on now to a couple of newbies. The next one we have is Erica Mitra, and I think I'm pronouncing your last name right. Erica actually works as a fitness and wellness coordinator for the Detroit Medical Center, the DMC. She works alongside outpatient physical therapy, coaches individuals, and manages a recreational group exercise division. She's got a master's in public health with an undergrad in wellness health promotion, injury prevention, and exercise science. And she actually met Eric Rashi at a completely different brain seminar. And so we're going to have her come on since this was her first seminar live and in person. So hi, Erica.
Hi everybody.
Okay, I'm going to let you have the screen.
All right, wish me luck. Hey everybody, good to see some of you guys again. I was missing you as soon as I left on the plane. So yes, this was my very first conference, and I got a few bullet points here about some key takeaways that I had. So the first thing that I really noticed was a good mix in the conference was, when you're trying to make a decision about doing something or being a part of something new, or even buying anything, I feel like there's a logical decision. There's logical points that you have to agree with. And then there's the emotional piece as well. You have to emotionally feel like you want to do it or it fits you. And the conference provided both of those really, really well. And so did the presenters. From David Dornan, he really gave some really good key specific points on how to talk to people. Don't go in and be stiff and have an exact plan and this is the plan and do you like it? Ask them questions, get to know them, and maybe only spend 10 minutes on what the business is and kind of get a feel if it's something that they would like to do. So he was giving some really good logical points about how the business could work for you and how you could present it to potential new clients. And then there was a lot of emotional presenters as well that took us through their life story and some struggles they had and how with the business they were able to overcome some of those and or use the business for their benefit for some hard life struggles. So that was really cool to see. I got both the logical answers I needed and emotional as well. Speaking of emotional, at one point during the conference, this was outside of the actual seminars, my coach, Eric Rashi, and Emily, along with upline Carol and Hank, we all sat down in the lobby for a minute and they were just asking me, what do you want and what do you need and why do you want to be in this business? And I've never felt so supported by people that I quote unquote work with. And it just felt like a great family and even sometimes in some ways a little bit closer than my own family. And it was really neat to experience that support that you get from your coaches prior to finding out about, Amway and Health Point and Nutrilite. I was looking at doing my own LLC. And what's so great about this business is just the community and the support and the connection. And I know right now, in our culture, that a lot of people are lacking that connection and that support. And, just more than what money could say, is really great about the presenters and the coaches and everyone that I came into contact with at N21. So I will, I know it's personal to us and this might not reflect for everyone else. But I happened to go through a personal hardship back in 2019. And over the last 4 years, for me personally, everything that has helped me along the way get out of where I was, whether it be people or different apps like phone apps or books, or podcasts or educational platforms, has all had some tie to Christianity. And so when I found out that N21 had an optional 9 a.m. service, it kind of was, it pulled me even more into the business because it just aligned so much with how I've grown and where I'm going over the last 4 years. So that's something personal to me. But yeah, so, Amway, specifically Nutrilite, what I've concluded after this awesome long weekend and conference, is it just provides so much from, better physical health through the actual products, to community connection, whether it be through your direct upline, your coaches, or through downlines like customers or other IBOs. Improve self-esteem. I'm a health point coach, so not only do I feel like my clients are getting improved health self-esteem through going through the program and feeling successful, but I'm also getting improved self-esteem through knowing that I can actually help somebody's life and improve their day and improve, their sense of self. And of course, the improved financial well-being that comes through the business. And the overall takeaway was, the risk of joining this business is so low and the reward could be so high. It's almost a no-brainer. So anyways, that concludes my little bullet points there. But yeah, it was wonderful to meet everyone in person and give hugs and laugh and cry. It was a unique experience, and I'm looking forward to another one.
Well, thank you, Erica. That was so fabulous. And it's just really great to hear from somebody that actually experienced it for the first time, because we talk about that. We talk about the functionaire and the experiences. But, when you hear somebody that has gone through it and has never gone through it before and giving their own perspective, it's just really great. So thank you so much for sharing and being so transparent. That was beautiful. And we're going to move on to our last sharer, and that is Alex Rubis. And Alex comes all the way from Halkida, Hellas. Where is that? That is in Greece, and that was where Alex was born and raised. And Alex is a tennis pro. He has actually toured all across Europe as a young man in his teens, and was very successful in competing. And then he received a scholarship to Georgia Southern University in the United States. And so as a young adult, he came over, went through his college education, graduated, and he actually was a captain for his team, and also even a coach for a period of time. And during that time, they broke many records. So we're real proud of Alex. And he's now graduated, and he's working in Richmond, Virginia at a private club as a tennis instructor, and excited about growing his business, his Amway Network 21 business. So hi, Alex.
Hello, Carol. Hello, everybody.
You got off the course, all right.
Yes, I just got off the court. I was working. By the way, I think that was one of the best introductions somebody has given to me. So that was really nice of you. Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, you're good.
Perfect. Do I just go by myself and talk
Yep,
about
you
my
just go by
experience?
yourself.
Oh, perfect, perfect. So, yes, so Carol explained a little bit about my background. That was my first actually weekend seminar. I joined and I watched myself. I really, really enjoyed all the speakers. It was just amazing, amazing experience. I have also I can't really relate too much to Dave Dornan, but the only thing I could relate is I also lived this business with my parents. My parents have been to the business for many, many years, so I also have experienced myself. And always what drives me now and makes me very eager to start is watching my parents, how much free time they had and how much time my dad and my mom were able to really give and help me with my tennis. And I feel like if it wasn't for Amway, I would probably never be in the United States right now. I would probably never have gotten a tennis scholarship, and it was all because of Amway. So I'm already very blessed to be in it without me personally doing anything. So that's for start, but I always had in mind to start, and I feel like I'm in a really good spot right now. But talking a little bit more about the weekend, I mean, it was great. I just felt that everything was explained very, very simple by David and all the speakers about the activity loop. David made very, very simple how to start, which for me right now, this is where I am. And those instructions really stuck to me, the starting and how to prospect and what to do after and make it simple. And how David really talked about you just want to make a connection, and obviously don't be weird. This was something that it was very, very funny. And he just made it feel about a connection and use some enthusiasm and just be friendly, you know? And that I really liked it. And it was just very simple to me. Also, every other speaker motivated me a lot. I mean, these guys are really living the dream. They're living the life that I want to have one day. And you know, it's all about the freedom. And for me, working in my business, with my future business, is something that I really want. And just having, I mean, to be honest, I want to be on stage one day as well. I saw these guys and I'm like, oh, I mean, one of the new dreams I need to put is be a speaker in a weekend seminar. So I just felt a very, very big push from all the speakers. And I think it's time to start, time to put some new goals and just be very ready to begin. So that was my experience. It was a very positive experience. I shared it with my parents. I shared it with Carol. It was just amazing to watch. And I wasn't even present. I saw it live. So I can't wait for the next one that I hopefully be able to go and just hopefully I will be able to be there with some results. So that's why I'm really looking forward. So thank you, Carol, for letting me give my experience to everybody. I hope I motivate a little bit as well.
Super. That's great, Alex. Thank you so much. And yeah, you know, it's nice to just have people from all different backgrounds, different, here's Alex from another country, folks from different walks of life. Some have PhDs, some have MOMs. That's me. I'm a mom, a mom and a businesswoman with no degrees, high school education. And so what it makes you realize is that there's so many different people from so many different walks of life, so many reasons, so many goals and dreams. And all we need to do is just be talking to people and getting the information from them. And speaking of talking to people, I'm going to turn you over to Hank because he's kind of a prospecting machine and he's always got his antennas up. And there was just a few folks that he met while we were at the airports and what have you, the hotels. And I know others of you have shared, you know, your Uber drivers and your, you know, people in the hotel and stuff. But Hank's got a few people he wanted to talk about real quick before we close the program. So here's Hank.
Well, good to hear from all of you. It was a fabulous, fabulous weekend. There's no question about it. And the word prospecting, just so I can share with you, used to scare the daylights out of me. Okay. Here I am, an engineer. All I knew was how to design things, not to connect with people or talk to people, even especially strangers. But I realized prospecting is not trying to talk to them about the business. Prospecting is creating a relationship, a connection with people. So see if they are in an area where they might be interested for you to share with them what you do, see if it can beneficial to them. So that's what it does. And the weekend got me refocused again real well. It's not that we stopped being focused, but it really sharpens your focus when you're at a weekend like that to get you back in that bubble and that path to be open and listen to people and try to create some kind of relationship. And we did connect with a number of people on the way back even. For example, we had an early flight out of SNA, John Wayne Airport. And the guy who picked us up at 5:15 in the morning was a cab driver. And he came over at 5:15 to take us to the airport. And we got chatting with him, found out that he's got a family and he works many hours driving this cab and, the whole bit. But so that limits him how much income he can generate. So when he's telling us all that, I says, well, are you open to maybe looking to create a few $100 more a month income? I didn't talk about thousands, just a few $100 more a month. He said, oh yeah, man, that'd be great. I says, well, we work with people, teach them how to do business on the internet. And it's not gonna take anything away from what you currently do. You keep driving, got to keep your current income. And we can show you how you can start making a few $100 more a month. He says, well, what do I have to do? He says, we're going to send you a short video. And so we sent him the video to which one was it? Margins, Carol? Margins. And so for him to view. And we see if we can get him on for tomorrow night, which Carol's going to be talking to you about that shortly. But he was very interested. So here's 5:15 in the morning. We're all focused about the business because of the seminar we just went through. It really sharpens your thinking, all right? So along with that, we stopped and got to the airport and had a breakfast there. And the young man who waited on us, a sharp young man with a Spanish name, Jose Sanchez. I says, where are you from, Jose? Mexico. Started telling me, he says, well, I've been in many areas of Mexico because of our business here. We do business in Mexico. And I didn't tell him that. I just shared with him that I've been many, many states in Mexico. He wasn't very impressed with that. He says, how did you do that? I said, well, because we run an internet-based business and we help people, show people how to make extra money besides what they currently do. So I asked him, how many hours you work here at the restaurant? We work 4 hours a day. Then he goes off to some other restaurant to work a few more hours there. He's got a family. So I says, well, would a few more extra $100 a month be benefit to you at all? He says, oh yeah, it'll be great. How do you do that? So I says, well, give me your phone number. We'll connect. And then we'll send you a short video to look at. And we talk a little further after you watch this video. Okay. He says, okay, great. So again, they're out there. And I'm going to turn it over to Carol because, oh yeah, there was one other one on our way to California, Tampa Airport. I was sitting there and I was watching a guy sitting down reading a few seats away from me, and he had a really different uniform on, which I did not recognize. So I said, I want to go talk to the guy because he looks pretty sharp. He was sharp. So we chatted. I says, excuse me. I says, I'm kind of curious what kind of uniform you're wearing. I've not seen that before. Well, it's a relatively new uniform for Southwest Airlines attendants. I said, wow, that is really a cool looking uniform. How long have you been working for Southwest? And I started asking questions. I asked questions. That's all you have to do. And he's been with them 20 years and went on. Make a long story short, I mentioned briefly about creating some additional side income. It says, well, be honest with you, I work long hours. We're all over the place. My wife has a very high level dog grooming business. He called it Mercedes level of dog grooming. She's got her own van. She goes to special homes where some very expensive homes, when their dogs groomed right there. She makes very good money doing that. So he says, right now we got our hands full, but definitely, we'll stay in touch. He said, this time I could not feel anything else in my life. He says, I just, when I'm done working, I'm wiped out, he said, so there's no problem. So we got chatting and it was nice just to talk to a guy. So what I'm saying is just reach out to people. Don't be afraid to connect with people. Just ask them about themselves. Don't try to do a sales job. It's not a business about selling the business. It's about connecting. That's prospecting is all about. It's about connecting and creating some relationship to see if it can go somewhere from there. Okay. So it makes it a lot easier once I understood that. I kind of got my mind worked around so I could handle it from my engineering viewpoint. Instead of being just a designer of things, I became where I want to be a connector of people. And that it's a lot of fun. It's exciting. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. But if nothing else, you've made new relationships, met new people. And I love doing it because it keeps you sharp. It keeps you in practice. So again, don't think about how can I sell this person on the business? That's not your job. Your job is to make a connection, see if you can create a relationship, and then after you ask them enough questions, they're going to ask you, "What do you do?" Right? It's normal. And you talk about, well, I do such and such, but I also help people create income along with what they currently earn. And that's, I love that. There was a one-liner from David Dornan this weekend. So think about those things, put it into your bag of knowledge and information so you can utilize it and help you grow your business. So I'm going to turn it back to Carol. Good to be all with you. You all did a great job. Love you guys. So proud of all of you. So here's Carol.
Well, thank you, Hank. And yes, you all did such a wonderful job. And I wish we could have given all of you so much more time because I know how much you had to share. It was a very full weekend. It was interesting because we came in actually Wednesday morning because we were doing some recording for Network 21. And so, there was nothing to do in the afternoon. So we went over to get a salad and I was at a deli and real nice lady was there. And of course she was by herself. Nobody was in the deli. So I got talking with her and I said, boy, it's got to be kind of lonely when you're out here by yourself. And so we got a conversation going and come to find out I asked her, what country are you from? She said, well, I'm from the Philippines. And I said, oh, that's interesting. I said, I've got a good friend from the Philippines. She's actually part of our Network 21 business, which is the conference we're at. And so then she started asking me a little bit more about that. And I started telling her a story about Olive Fernandez, if you remember her from one of the conferences, a couple of conferences ago. And I said, and she lost her husband about 10 years ago, and now she's growing her business with her son. And she said, well, I lost my husband about 10 years ago, and that's why I came from the Philippines. And she says, and I have a daughter, and my daughter's working at Starbucks. So there was a deli in Starbucks. And so I said, well, God, you got a lot in common with Olive. I said, possibility of a growing business in the Philippines and maybe even some here in the United States. I said, I don't know, but I could shoot you a quick little video. So she gave me her information. So we'll see where that goes. Again, like Hank said, it's just keeping in practice with it. But the one that I'm very excited about, because I think it's just a real relational business, is on the way home, sat next to an absolutely beautiful young lady. And she gave me her whole life story about conceiving her son and how many years and hundreds of thousands of dollars it took for them, all the way to losing her father. I mean, she was very, very transparent, very beautiful stories. And we just created a really nice conversation around natural health and taking your health in your own hands. And so we exchanged information and I'm going to develop that, but she was really sharing for me. So I wasn't going to be getting into a lot of business at that time. All I'm ever interested in is exchanging information so that we can pick up the conversation. And so I think that really takes the pressure off of you if you're not worried about how you're going to approach them and you just get some kind of a commonality where you can exchange information and some kind of a thread that you can continue on. I think that really helps. So anyway, and I know many of you did the same thing, and probably over the next couple of weeks, we'll hear some of those stories on our programs. But we're going to wrap up right now. I just want to remind you, if you did not take advantage of the $189 early bird over the weekend, there is still the $199 early bird, which will save you $10 per person. And you have that until the end of January. So if you have not registered yet for your live ticket, please do so. And I really, really, really encourage you to do the live. I understand California was far, and I understood that there was various and sundry really valid reasons that folks were not able to be there. But I guess you heard the whole commonality of the whole talk of all these different folks that shared tonight was the importance of being there physically. And the next one and the next two actually are going to be in Atlanta. And I'll give you the dates for the next two of those. Of course, the Memorial Weekend one, and then I'll send you the date on the one in September. But you know, anybody can drive to Atlanta or fly there, whatever's convenient. And it's so I just really, really, really encourage you. It's just easy to get the live stream and stay home in the comfort of your home. But I will tell you, you don't get anywhere near the flavor. And you could see that in the folks where they spoke tonight and they shared. It's just really valuable to be there in person. And don't forget to book your room at the same time so you don't forget. Okay, we're going to wrap the program up. I want to remind you that tomorrow night is the Network 21 webcast. We're going to be doing the 20-minute plan. Actually, Hank's going to be doing it. And then we'll hear a couple of impact statements. So get your folks on there. You know, whatever prospects you have, invite them to it. And if they sometimes they can't go to the earlier one, but they can go to the later one just because maybe they work late or something. So remember, you have two. You have an East Coast and a West Coast. The West Coast doesn't start till 10 o'clock, and many people get off late, and that 10 o'clock actually works very well for them. So don't discount either one of those webcasts. And like I say, 20 minutes, boom, you've got a professional that's explaining the concept. Just remember, follow up is key on that. So make sure you set the arena that after it's over, you're going to be following up with them right away, so that you can address any concerns that they might have and questions, or give them the next step. So with that, we're going to close the evening. Again, thank you each and every one of you, Kathy, Steve and Pamela, Larry and Regina, Erica, Alex. Thank each and every one of you. Each one of you brought a very different message, a very beautiful message, and a very exciting message. So who do you know that is like one of those guys? Go out there and talk to them and get them into the culture. So anyway, we'll talk to you guys later. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.
Always.
Thanks, Carol.
You're welcome.
Oh, never mind now. Mhm.
Yeah, I forgot to open the shutter.